So this is my Genius Hour presentation over good versus bad liars, created and presented by me, Ava Salyer. The beginning. I got interested in this research project because I've always wondered who is lying to me and who isn't, also because I watch Survivor and there's a lot of lying and people wondering what's true and what isn't. And it just made me wonder, can I start to recognize liars and non-liars? And then whenever the Genius Hour opportunity came, I realized it was the perfect time for me to really go into depth with this information that I needed. And I just want to do this due to curiosity. It's not like I'm going to steal something and then lie about it, okay? That I wouldn't do that. So that's why I'm in front of you guys here today, just telling all my research. My questions. So my inquiry-based questions are these. What happened in the brain when someone's lying versus when they're telling the truth? That just means that what kind of reactions and messages are being sent to the brain and being delivered back into the communications whenever someone's lying versus when they're telling the truth. So is there a notable difference? My next question is, are there recognizable cues or clues that someone's lying to me? So I did find the answer to this, but like I was just wondering if it's like moving around a lot, just like things I can notice if someone's lying to me. My last question was, what happens in the brain? So why is the brain different when one is a good liar? Is there some kind of difference in how the brain works? And I chose these questions because I realized I could get a lot of answers that would get me a broad amount of information rather than just one little answer that wouldn't get me anywhere. My findings. What I found actually surprised me. I did not expect to find as much as I did. The first thing I want to explain is the prefrontal cortex. So we have lobes in our brain. The one that we're focusing on is the frontal lobe. It's in the front. The prefrontal cortex is in the front about right here, and it controls your communication abilities, your speaking, your communications. There is white and gray matter in your prefrontal cortex. The gray matter is what controls your remorse and regret, and it turns out that pathological liars have less of this gray matter. So they don't even realize that they're doing anything wrong whenever they lie, or they don't realize it as well. Also, the prefrontal cortex overdoes its job. So for a pathological liar, it's giving a liar better speaking abilities than a normal brain would usually have. So they're able to come up with better lies and not be super squirmish or acting different whenever they lie about something. The assessments. So the test that I performed was really simple, and I'm sure someone might have heard of it. All I did was get playing cards, and I gave one to each of my volunteers. We did it one at a time. I secretly looked at the card, and they didn't know I had. And then I gave them the card, and I just told them to lie to me about what their card was. So if the card was black, I would ask them, what color is your card? And they would say red. And I was trying to find things that they were doing that were different. So I found the good and a bad liar. The good liar, Peyton, was calm and relaxed. She wasn't really like trying to noticeably come up with a good answer or make me feel like she's telling the truth. And the bad liar, Campbell, was squirming around and kind of looking away, hesitating to respond, trying to think of what she should say to make me believe her. So the signs of lying that I noticed were fidgeting, looking away, and hesitating to respond. Images. So I couldn't find many images, which could have been one of my setbacks, but here I found white and gray matter. So here's the white, which is a lot more than what you should normally have, and then here's the gray. So clearly this is a good liar's brain, and there's less gray matter than there probably should be. This is a normal brain over here, so it kind of shows you what that should look like. And then this is showing a bad liar's brain and what these little particles are that make it different. Reversal of the process, that's just a fancy way of saying what my setbacks were. So some setbacks I had were whenever I couldn't find the right information. Like I noticed that the website said that some people were good at lying, some people weren't. But obviously everyone knows that, so that's not something I was trying to find out. But through persistence, I was able to find the information I needed, and I was able to show you all this today. Persisting questions. Some questions I continue to ponder are the following. Why does the brain feel the need to lie? when one is in that kind of situation. Like, why do we think that we need to do the morally incorrect thing to keep ourselves safe, whenever we know there's no kind of death threat? Like, we know we're not going to get in any kind of like suffering. Why do we feel the need to lie about something? Next is, why does the matter have so much control over how we speak and perform? Why does having less gray matter make you a pathological liar, but having more of it makes you regular or just bad at speaking? Or feeling a lot of remorse or regret. So you might feel overly bad or overly guilty about something. My last question that I continue to ponder is lying a genetic thing? Like, does it run in families if both your parents have it? Kind of like red hair. If your parents have it, you have it. But is it just more of like a mutation kind of thing, where it just occurs in you rarely and it doesn't occur in the rest of your family? Thank you for your time and thank you for listening to my TED Talk.
And